expect an Elise or a... Elise has already been banned, so Vi was the only thing that I can look at. There it is, locked in from River.
Yep. And Stixxay locking in that Zeri with the Vi means that there is no easy way for 100 Thieves to get that guaranteed lockdown later in the stage of the game when Zeri becomes so slippery, so mobile. So now 100 Thieves, you have this jungler in mind for closer in this Wukong. My eyes looking to round up the bot lane.
Yeah, Jinx already being hovered, that was already expected. They have the option to go towards a Thresh or just lock in the Scion right now. In the last series, they tend to delay that going into 4-5. It seems like Tenacity has quite a few options. The Cho'Gath is one that he went towards. So I'm not too concerned about that. I would actually say going towards the Thresh would be pretty important. You can go Lulu, and you can lock out the Zeri-Lulu combination, so that's another option there. I personally like Busio on Thresh, gives them pick opportunities as well. They tend to be pretty far behind in early game, so there it is, getting locked in. So protection in team fights and pick opportunities later on in the game.
I mean, longtime Busio fans are always going to be a fan whenever they see Busio on a playmaker rather than just an enchanter trying to pump up DoubleLift. But the extra mobility with Dark Passage can get DoubleLift out of sticky situations. This does forfeit the Lulu over to Huhi, so a little bit of extra power for Stixxay in the late game.
I liked a lot of your casts when Busio was in Academy, because a lot of it was him playing engages, him and Ayla really being the backbone of their team and making team fights, winning opportunities off the Rakan or Thresh, and now we get the opportunity because of the meta changing to really get that Busio out in the open again. So I'm happy to see it. Interesting going into the 4-5 now with mid steal being up in the air. I love the Lissandra ban. That's been another pick, that and the Annie, that we've been seeing Bjergsen on a lot. So I'm very interested. There might be some changes. What's made me a little bit more excited was watching that T1 KT match last night.
That was a banger.
Seeing Twisted Fate being popped out by BDD. So if they are interested in putting Tenacity on a carry again, they can go in that route. But I think Golden Guardians, they've done it in the past. They are the team that's still willing to get 5-pick on top lane. So maybe not going to see a change there. One interesting fact was Licorice was actually the Malphite player. So he picked out Malphite. Game was pretty decent. So maybe they go back to that depending on 100 Thieves comp.
And if it was something like just a Twisted Fate for Bjergsen that we were expecting because of the patterns of Annie and Lissandra being both mid laners that necessarily don't want to hard dominate lane, they want to roam and look for plays. Facilitate closer, get them off the map, get them snowballing, look on the bottom side of the map. But if you have something low damage profile in Twisted Fate and Tenacity isn't on an AP carry, that is where something like a Malphite does really spring to life.
Ooh, I'm excited to see what the pick's going to be there for Gori, because he is the one that is the engine for Golden Guardians. The LeBlanc picks that we've seen, the Yone picks, he plays quite a bit of Assassin. He is actually the leading player on this team in terms of damage share. Usually that's an 80 carry stat that we usually see excel. We're going to see Licorice actually blind pick the Renekton going up top lane. That's been a comfort for him. I'm not too happy about that, especially since 100 Thieves can just easily bust out another tank and just play a front-to-back fight and make it difficult for Renekton to be effective.
They've already banned out the sign away from Tenacity, but as you already pointed out before, he can always go to the Gragas. That's a great matchup into the Renekton. Hell, you could even go Cho'Gath if you wanted a little bit of extra scaling power, but they want to take the Ksante, something that, I mean, we've seen flex between both solo lanes, but more than likely should go over to Tenacity, so while he gets to be a tank, he also gets some backline threat access if he ever finds Stixxay.
Exactly. And it now is kind of like gives that skill expression to Tenacity. The desk talked about this just a little bit, how Gori is leading in solo kills. Number 2 is Tenacity because of how he is a good laner. Not a lot of people get to see that. So a lock-in of the Zilean towards Bjergsen is going to make this game a lot more exciting. Hard for Golden Guardians to manage team fights, so giving them a side lane threat or something should be what they go for. They're hovering over the Akali. I'm personally not a fan of it, but if they do lock it in, the power is going to be in Gori's hands. There it is.
Gori taking up the assassin reins of this Akali, putting the onus on him and River to find DoubleLift again and again in these fights. But the problem is, Bjergsen with a Zilean, DoubleLift gets a second life.
Yeah, it's just a lot of single target pick from Golden Guardian side. The Vi, the Akali, technically Renekton. So it's going to be pretty easy for the Thresh Lantern, the Zilean ulti to save them, but you still have Zeri Lulu in your back pocket. So
all right, we're on the Rift now, and I do believe that we're going to be getting a quick little interview with Chime talking to one of the coaches of the teams.
Yeah, it is a Golden Guardians coach, which is going to be fun since he has history with that one. So maybe he ribs them a little bit, try and pull some information from him. So when that does happen, that'll be a fun one.
But not now. I'm just chilling for the next 40 seconds before we get into kind of start of the minion spawn here.
Yeah, I'm always interested in if there's going to be any bit of cheese in the level 1 or just an invade that were to happen. No Scion here, so we don't get to see that. Just a proper fan from both teams, so it seems like nothing is going to be out of the ordinary. Wukong still living in the top side of the map, so maybe it's going to be swap clear, so Wukong perhaps going to be clearing from top to bot. Vi going to be doing the opposite. Actually, they're on vision here. Okay, just getting a ward down on Raptors to get any information on River, so that seems to be the game plan.
Yeah. And it's always a good timer to try and go for the late invade to get as much time on that Raptor camp, because it's not often for junglers to start any camp that is not their buff. But I am now getting word. We now have Chime on the side with Spooks.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Chime? Looking handsome as always.
So what do you think of the draft? Do you have any thoughts on, did you expect Zilean in the 4-5? Did you have a 4-5 expectation of him blending it?
I feel like with Bjergsen, like he'll default to comfort picks.
Sure.
We definitely thought about the Zilean.
Okay.
Gori's a really strong laner, so we're pretty confident that he'll be able to punish.
Okay.
He's also a really good Akali player, so we're pretty confident in the draft.
And did you ever think about them always slamming Jinx Thresh no matter what? Was that just...
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that's nice about 100 Thieves is like, normally you have like 20 different draft situations.
Yeah.
With 100 Thieves, you know exactly what they're doing. So it takes less in the draft prep.
And you can just copy Fly's homework.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Cool.
Well, thank you.
That's it. All right, cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Charmer.
Thank you, Chime and Spooks. Just giving us insight that, you know, they're not that concerned of the Bjergsen Zilean power pick coming in on the 4-5 draft. But I want to get right into what you were mentioning during that early draft phase, Raz. If Golden Guardians' win condition is to play towards the side lanes, what does River need to do in the first 15 minutes of the game to enable that success?
Well, fun thing about River is that pretty unpredictable. A lot of it is still going to be around mid lane, and it's just a bit of a coin flip in how he ends up ganking that lane. But one thing that is predictable as he goes over the wall is that closer is going to be bot side of the map. He's always going to look for a gank. It looks like this time around it's going to be a lane gank, but I wonder how Tenacity is going to deal with the River gank up top side.
He's running Ghost Teleport, so he can't immediately flash the Vault Breaker if River lands it true. The stun guarantees the Vault Breaker, and Tenacity knows he is gone. No Ghost is going to save you. First blood over to Golden Guardians.
There it is. Quick and easy there from River getting first blood. A fun little stat there is that both junglers, Closer and River, lead the league in the regular season for first bloods. Closer is a little higher up on that one, but it was a nice angle there for River. Let's see if Closer gets one back.
Busio's gonna flash forward, guarantee the flay and look for the death sentence, but it's a little too late. The cleanse from Stixxay guarantees that he's able to skate back over the wall.
Yeah, just going over the LCS banner there. He knew that. He was under no concern, no troubles. So far, this game looking great for Golden Guardians to be able to get that pick early for Licorice. The kill does go over to River, so he's going to be able to spread the love a little bit across the map. Right now, Gori is still sticking in lane. He has TP in his back pocket, so I'm not too concerned about him. It's mostly just going to be if Bjergsen is going to be constantly pushing in. If River's going to find another angle, usually he finds, like, he just queues into the line bush of either side of mid, tries to dodge out of ward like he did earlier to get the kill onto his top lane.
Yeah.
So just hard to be able to track him.
I want to take a look at the next couple of minutes. While Tenacity's Ghost and Teleport is down, River nor Licorice burn flashes, so they have summoner advantages to make another repeat gank set up. River did clear all of his top camps, so he's not going to be there for the next couple of minutes, but by the time that swings on around, Ghost should still be down, and there's a window for Licorice to still be snowballed even further ahead.
That's a fair point. It might be the case, even though throughout this full split, Licorice, for the first 8 minutes of the game, was kept isolated, the most isolated top laner in the league, actually. Seems like the note's different going into this playoff series. I was wondering what the change-up was going to be for Golden Guardians. I think the draft is fairly standard, but it seems like the play is different. They found an opening on Tenacity, and I think they're going to continue to punish it.
Yeah. I mean, with the way that River and Closer are pretty much always on opposite ends of the map, whether they know that for sure or not, now they're going to guarantee access of that knowledge because River's crossing over a pink ward. DoubleLift and Busio are going to have to play safe for now, even with summer advantage.
Yeah, stepping up just in case that Tri-Bush wasn't warded, and so River can get a wrap around, but Now they have eyes on River. He's just going to be able to path back to the top side, but DoubleLift and Busio don't know that. He could be a psychopath. He could stay in that tri-bush for however long he wants to, but overall, this is just going to be a pretty standard early game. Slight goal lead there for Golden Guardians, and if I'm looking towards what the next step is going to be, it's going to be Drake stacking.
Yep.
I honestly think that right now, Golden Guardians have a bit of an edge around that. They have full vision control from mid to bot side. You can see that control ward on line bush. The only concern is that ward that's going to be expiring and that Huhi and River are going to walk through. That's going to be a little unfortunate, but there it is, another control ward to catch that. That's something that actually Chime talked about in the analyst desk, how Huhi will always path through mid and work with River to get those wards down. So let's see if Closer gets caught off guard by this.
River's now going to show himself in the river, so both teams are just going to stand off, stare at each other down menacingly, and just, you know, walk like ships in the night. While Stixxay, because he is down summoner spells, he can't necessarily go for an engage.
Yeah, level 6 there for both mid laners, so I would give a slight advantage to 100 Thieves. They have pick potential in both the Thresh, and maybe if you get a double bomb, that's an option. And it's just going to be hard to really nail down anybody. Here comes the all-in from Licorice.
Dominus popped, and Licorice is burning down Tenacity. He gets Ghost up once again, but he's going to immediately force to burn it. Not using the all-out quad yet, because Licorice just has such a high health pool advantage at the moment.
Yeah, so that's going to have to force Tenacity back. And this is going to be really tough for him because he has no TP. It's only going to get harder. Wow.
I mean, Cyclone is burned early. He gets a double knockout, but I don't think there's going to be any more action from 100 Thieves. Golden Guardians say, okay, we just got a free ultimate from Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to expend there, but at least 100 Thieves get something done there. They are able to clear out the line bush, so the vision is set there, and they're able to push Golden Guardians away from Dragon. So even though I said it was going to be a Dragon game, that's not going to happen. Feels like Rift Herald is going to be the next point of focus. Golden Guardians slow stacking bot lane wave. I expect them to then base and look to play for Rift Herald. They have a Renekton, which is just a beast around that objective, and Tenacity is not looking so hot right now.
Yeah.
Really far behind because of that early gank, and then having to base with a stacking wave. He's going to be in trouble. So Golden Guardians right now is just looking really good.
Yeah. And the fact that they deflected a lot of the early advantage that DoubleLift and Busio found off of the gank on the Stixxay.
Yeah.
His summoner spells are just coming up now. So the window that 100 Thieves wanted to punish, it's pretty much evaporated. And Golden Guardians, they can take this dragon with confidence because they know there's no Cyclone, but they're getting pincer in. River is forced to flash over the wall. Gori's here. He has perfect execution. Who does he want to go for? They target onto Bjergsen, but DoubleLift gets popped in the fray, and Golden Guardians just take 100 Thieves one after another.
That was a clean one from Golden Guardians. I can understand why 100 Thieves wanted to take that defense, but they could not deal with River and Stixxay wrapping around them. That was beautiful. 2-0-2. Now Stixxay is huge after that.
I mean, that was beautiful from Golden Guardians, but from 100 Thieves, it seems so bizarre. You know you don't have Cyclone going into that fight.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words.
They thought they can get a clean pick on towards River, but River being able to back away completely. Stixxay pushing DoubleLift out from the fight there. So even though that's actually the worst lantern you could take. It made sense where you're like, okay, if we're committing to the fight, you can join it and find access in there with Stixxay not pushing you out. But you saw the moment you get lanterned in, I was like, oh, okay, I'm surrounded by 3 to 4 people.
Yeah, and then they all lined up for a very, very efficient, perfect execution from Gori, hitting, I think, all 4 members there in the fray. So what was an early advantage for Golden Guardians has now skyrocketed to 3,000.
Yeah, now 100 Thieves have to be really clear. They can't take these fights. Now, they're looking to start up Rift Herald. As you can see, Lulu and Akali getting pushed on mid, and they're going to contest. It doesn't seem rational for them not to. Oh, except Jinx is rotating. So you're seeing DoubleLift moving up, so they're going to have numbers advantage here. Golden Guardians recognize that with DoubleLift actually being on the mid lane wave, so they just back away, and they're just going to give free gold to Stixxay. He denies the wave from DoubleLift. He's going to be a little bit far behind for that one. TP comes down there for Tenacity, so he's able to catch the wave. So this is actually a pretty good move from 100 Thieves.
Yep.
They don't lose actually too much for that play overall, so Golden Guardian's going to be pretty upset.
Yeah. While in the aftermath of that fight, both Tenacity and DoubleLift were left off worse for wear.
Yeah.
They recognize that, you know what, we'll probably have much more power if we have both DoubleLift and Busio rather than a Ksante at this point in the game. So they send Tenacity towards the bottom side of the map to catch the wave. This is the gamble that they're taking where Stixxay just got a lot of free farm, as you already noted.
Yeah.
But hopefully, for 100 Thieves' case, they're able to balance it out now with this Rift Herald that they've picked up.
Yeah, this is pretty smart from 100 Thieves. They got the push out topside with the DoubleLift making that rotation, was able to pick up the mid lane wave during the whole thing, then goes top lane, clears that out, then rotates bot lane. So it's like overall, you're like, okay, that's a lot of movement for 100 Thieves just to be able to guaranteed Rift Herald. So even though the gold advantage still heavily in Golden Guardian's favor, that now it's them going to have to like just defend where that next placement of Rift Herald is going to be. So I'm interested where Closer is going to be placing that. I expect fully that it's going to be going towards the bot lane for DoubleLift.
Sure.
Doesn't make too much sense for it to be pushed through mid or top lane. The only difficulty, as you can see, Gori has pushed through mid. So if you're going to try to place that through bot lane, the defense is going to be pretty real. And I would be surprised if DoubleLift is actually going to be in range of turret when that placement goes through to get the gold from the turret plates.
And it's not guaranteed that Golden Guardians will commit to this attempt on the bot lane.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've now taken the steps to clear out vision control and it's complete darkness through their own quadrant in the jungle, Busio and DoubleLift cannot play as aggressively as they would like. They find a death sentence on Huhi. Can they get the kill down before River gets a chance to participate? They're looking to burn him down. They get him, and the resets are there for DoubleLift. Cyclone right onto the backline for Stixxay as well, and River is actually isolated. He looks to trade one back, but Busio survives, and 100 Thieves are back in this game.
What a sick hook from Busio. When the going got tough, he went for that pick. Did not expect Huhi to be the target there with the minion wave right next to him. Incredibly smart and a great way to come back into this game.
And this just snowballs even further. The payoff is rewarded when they get the Rift Herald into the turret. Unfortunately for them, Golden Guardians using Gori to answer with the TP. I think DoubleLift didn't get any of that plate gold. It all went to Closer. But now this is where 100 Thieves have to say, okay, our early plan for trying to snowball a little gold into Jinx, it's actually going to be going into Closer. Now Closer has to be the person that turns it on with completing this Divine Sunder in the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that next focus has to be the Dragon. Coming up in 50 seconds. I'm expecting Golden Guardians to feel confident to still take that fight. Zeri is still looking good, but take a look at this. From the side of 100 Thieves. Another thing, too, is also Zilean make the move from mid to bot, but finds that pick on towards Huhi. Just essentially bursts him down even through the Lulu ultimate. And so they still commit to the fight. They still think that they can take it with Stixxay specifically being strong, but honestly, Bjergsen wasn't even needed for this one. So really good pick. Creativity there from 100 Thieves. Just taking a look at the gold. Yeah, TP just to force them off here. And actually protect.
Oh, DoubleLift's actually got a little bit of the gold too. Okay.
So that's great.
Huge.
He still gets that. That's a big win. Stixxay, I thought the fear was that they were going to dive Stixxay immediately afterwards with the wave coming in. So the TP was also just to protect him.
Woo!
That was close.
Immediate missing things flash from Golden Guardian side. Hey guys, there's a Thresh in my lane. What's this?
Get this man out of here.
Golden Guardians have the opportunity to go for the second dragon of the game. There's nothing really for 100 Thieves to go for in terms of objective, but if they want to take down a Crocodile and turn him into some boots, then maybe this could be the angle.
Yeah, it looks like a good objective to me, though. Akali is looking for a way to defend Licorice on this wave. Smart from Licorice to back away completely. If there's any way to escort him, that would be nice, but there's just way too many people up top lane, so they're just completely stacking it.
It's a Mountain Soul game, Raz. That's going to be tough if 100 Thieves cannot contest Golden Guardians in the next two dragons, because that extra resistances plus the Mountain Soul shield, it denies the attempt or the availability for a reset to come in for DoubleLift to really just rip through these team fights.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm happy that he is... they're allowing him to get experience topside by just splitting the map. They made the mistake earlier of contesting the last dragon. They don't want to do that again, especially if they're a little bit slower in tempo. So why not go topside? Maybe get a pick on towards Renekton, but mostly just give that gold over to DoubleLift, who is able to complete his Kraken. So that's a big win, along with Berserker's Greaves. So he's already feeling pretty happy. You're right. I do think that they need to take that next fight around dragons. They have 4 minutes of time to really plan for that.
And within that 4 minutes, we're at 15 at the moment. And we take a look at Golden Guardian's side. Everyone has completed their first item, except for Huhi, but you know it's okay. He's got all the power-ups that just make everyone else look damn good on the Rift. I feel it is very dangerous for 100 Thieves to take any fights right now, but if Golden Guardians can use this power to bully them out of quadrants and take away vision control, then you can start denying and starving more resources away from 100 Thieves while they're trying to scale up.
I agree with that. And I think it's important to talk about how 100 Thieves take wins here from now on. Like, if they, in terms of if they take this fight versus a pretty strong 2K goal lead of Golden Guardians, how are they feasibly going to win? And I think it's important for Tenacity or even Bjergsen to really know where Gori is going to be coming into the fight.
Yeah.
For me, he's the biggest threat. Everybody else is going to be coming at, you know, front to back. Maybe it depends on the Renekton, but I think for sure Gori is going to be coming at a flank and just making DoubleLift's life hard. Because you only get one lantern to reposition yourself. So if he comes at a flank that he can't really, or no one's really tracing, that's going to be tough.
Licorice TP is down, and even though Busio tries to punish with a death sentence, he doesn't take realistically any too much damage. 100 Thieves did not want to fully commit into blowing up the Crocodile. The Rift Herald is the play that 100 Thieves are going to contest Golden Guardians on, and Gori on this right side of the flank. You got to be careful, which is why DoubleLift wants to be cautious about how he approaches into the river, because he has no way to escape.
And take a look at this. On both control wards, line bush and behind the pit, you're seeing River and Gori threatening a flank, making it hard, as you mentioned, for DoubleLift to actually push through.
The walls are going to close in, Raz. As soon as River goes over the wall, he's thinking about it. Vault Breaker's charged up. It looks like he doesn't take it quite yet, but he could always flash and just go for the ultimate. 2,000 HP on the Rift Herald. Closer tries to keep it in line, but it resets, and now they pull the trigger. Goes on to DoubleLift. The Dark Passage is right on top of him, but Gori finds it. DoubleLift flashes over to the left wall. He's got the Zilean ulti, so he's still protected. Can Gori still clean it up? He's already got one on Tenacity, but the rest of 100 Thieves are still alive. Gori is taken out by the bomb from Zilean, and 100 Thieves now get the push forward. It's disaster. Stixxay is still the last member alive that can put out realistic damage against 100 Thieves, and he's trying to do his best, Raz, but I don't think he can fight the rest of the Thieves.
There it is. I mean, this is tough for Golden Guardians. They have to concede it. Now they're looking mid lane, but that's a one fight for 100 Thieves. Great positioning by DoubleLift right next to that wall you were talking about. Flashes right over, and there's no way they can threaten him anymore. I would say the only point of criticism we'll probably see in that replay was that although River did find a flank, Akali was actually on mid lane. At that point was maybe losing patience or something, went back mid, cleared the wave, so it was a little bit late, but even still I think was just going to be hard for Golden Guardians there. So that was a really good way of actually taking that fight. Only one sunburn, didn't even need to use the ghost. Let's take a look at this one more time.
Yep, you called it. He's on the mid wave, and I think this is where Gori's just a little too far away for him to capitalize right on the instantaneous moment of the play.
Yeah, and it felt like 100 Thieves used everything to save him. The lantern was placed. They even used, Golden Guardians used the control wards to deny the lantern. So you saw the Zilean ulti early, just in case he can't find a way out. Wasn't even necessary with DoubleLift flashing over. So that was a great way of taking the fight where I actually didn't believe in it from the very start.
Yeah, and it definitely the way that it panned out at the beginning, it seemed like they had all three kind of pincers all circled in. But that is the difficult part about executing a disruption pick. Yeah, I mean, hey, they're in elimination rounds. You can't just save the pocket pick for game 3, game 4. It's got to be. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and why does he still have hair? That's fair. But one of the points being made about, like, look, their team, 100 Thieves, that even Spooks, the head coach for Golden Guardians, like, it's very easy to prep for that team, but still, you can prep for this as the draft, but if they're just that good at performing, regardless of the champions, if they're able to play a front-to-back team fight well, properly, get and play the fundamentals well and positioning around that, if you play that well, there's nothing stopping you from picking it. It's working for them.
Yeah, I don't think he dies. I mean, Bjergsen still has ulti, so he can just chrono break himself. He looks for the stun, and they try to bait it out, so now he's low on HP. At least they get the chrono break away, while the rest of 100 Thieves are bearing down on this bottom side tower.
Yeah, it looks like Golden Guardians didn't want to defend the play bot lane. 100 Thieves are in a really good spot here now. Okay, at least they're just going to try and sneak away the dragon. 100 Thieves are aiming for it, not thinking it's taken. TP coming in, though.
Closer's going to be the first one over the wall. He sees it. 2,000 HP, 1,000. Oh, my goodness. Closer clutches the steal. That's going to buy 100 Thieves more time in this game, but now they have to worry about how they can get out of this fight. It's a simple flash over the wall. Cyclone buys himself time. Gori is now over the wall. He wants to look for the perfect execution, but the box and the stun for the bombs keeps him busy. He's forced out of this one. Golden Guardians don't get a damn thing.
Closer's a smooth criminal, man. He calls himself a dangerous man for a reason. The fact that they're able to make the play bot lane and through Golden Guardians' creativity, trying to sneak Dragon underneath 100 Thieves' noses, he's like, I ain't happening.
That's right. Not on my watch, baby. And look at this. Look how fast it is. He's like, Busio, sorry. It's my time to shine. It's a solo mission.
Pretty smart way of using clone there, too. no way from Golden Guardians to push him off from that one the moment he gets an eye on the HP of Dragon. Golden Guardians, of course, try and take the fight. Closer flashing over the wall, I think really important. Gori, actually, I thought he was going to be able to get a good angle here, but good ulti from Busio to slow him down, chunk him out a little bit. So he was disincentivized.
This is the main struggle that Golden Guardians have now run into in the past couple of fights, where they have all these flankers and backline threats that you can disrupt the backline fight with, but 100 Thieves have been so damn good at peeling away those threats one by one that there's credit over to 100 Thieves for being able to deal with it so beautifully, but also, you know, Golden Guardians need to finesse their execution so that everyone is going in at the same time.
Yeah. And so this just feels like a really close game, is a really close game. And so it's up to Golden Guardians to go back to the drawing board, figure out how they want to be able to take these fights. They failed the last one around Rift Herald and made a few mistakes around playing against it. They didn't want to defend Herald, push bot lane, and tried to go for Dragon and lost in both ways. So couldn't get the pick on Bjergsen when they were trying to trade side. They failed at that. So let's see if they can bounce back.
They might find River here. Tenacity takes up the stun. One bomb is on the head of Licorice. No stun to be found from Bjergsen. 100 Thieves are able to just back away from the fight as Stixxay is revved up, but doesn't pop the ulti. Golden Guardians still trying to find ways to control this river area, but they're being blown off by 100 Thieves at the moment.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think Baron is going to be a big point of fear. I think they just need to take their side lane waves. Oh, unless they're just going for
TP
it.
flank, if this can work. One bomb is already on the TP ward, but there's not another one. It stops Licorice permanently for now. Closer takes out River, and everyone is peeled back off. DoubleLift is low in HP, but he can still fire a rocket from downtown to take out Gori. 100 Thieves have only dropped Closer in the run, whereas Golden Guardians, they're working with Stixxay. They're working with Licorice and Huhi to see if they can still put out the damage. And Stixxay wants to fire more bullets in the 100 Thieves, but they've all gone out safely.
Easily a 2-for-1 in favor of 100 Thieves. You saw Tenacity, Bjergsen, Busio all protecting DoubleLift, not allowing River and Gori to get an angle there. So just take a look one more time. I actually thought Golden Guardians were just going to say, okay, let's play back. We don't have to play for this fight, but they went for it. I was concerned initially because of how low DoubleLift got. And with Zilean ulti already on him, there may have been an angle for Golden Guardians to actually take a fight, but they had already gotten the pick on River and Gori. So a little bit confusing. You look at Licorice there, didn't know how to honestly take the fight because it was already lost by the time he was there.
Sigh of relief from DoubleLift as he gets out safely, adds up another kill to the side of 100 Thieves. It's been incredible to watch 100 Thieves despite the early game mishaps and the big upstart from Golden Guardians in that first Dragon fight that they had. They've been able to bounce back and they've been able to play to the success of their win con, protect DoubleLift at all costs, keep this man alive. As Golden Guardians, time and time again, they have not been able to find him.
I like what Golden Guardians are doing right now, though. I mean, they are losing their gold lead, and they do have to protect this mid lane, but they're positioning on towards Baron because 100 Thieves know that they still have to deny Golden Guardians from a third dragon. That is a threat that Golden Guardians are still hanging over their heads. And so, hey, if you're doing Dragon, we can play around Baron ourselves. We can force a fight that's advantageous for us. So, like, that's something that I would say Golden Guardians have an out in, that they can play well enough to get back into the game. So I'm interested to see if that's going to be the case for Golden Guardians, or they just go headstrong straight into River and challenge 100 Thieves there.
So far, vision control is on 100 Thieves' side. Dragon is coming up in the next 24 seconds, so I feel like the window to regain vision control for Golden Guardians has already passed. It seems like this Dragon is going to be in favor of 100 Thieves.
All right, let's see. A lot of good vision up here in the top side of the map. Huhi still working quite closely. Oh, they've already started it. They've already just gone for it. Dragon's just spawning right now with ulti used by Jinx, so they now have an idea and they have to slowly encroach on Golden Guardians.
Closer's the first one into the river. Tenacity is being marked by Gori on the left side in the jungle. Licorice is looking for a flank. Licorice has flash. Has he been spawned on a ward? They know that there's a ward from 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves don't have vision of Licorice himself. And he's just waiting for DoubleLift to step on up. He's popping the Dominus. He might have gone a little too early. Gori looks for perfect execution. They're going to take out the front line first, but DoubleLift is safe in this pocket, and Stixxay's taken out, and the majority of the damage is gone. And look at that double bomb stun from Bjergsen, setting up DoubleLift to carry. The two goats of NA working side by side to deliver this game for 100 Thieves.
And that last hook onward towards Huhi. A nice button to that team fight. Loved 100 Thieves' patience, walking up towards the river. Tenacity was marking Gori, so he didn't have that angle. Rejoined the fight, and it was a clean execution from 100 Thieves.
I am just completely floored by how well they are in sync. But this is the result of fruit of their labors after this entire split so far, as 100 Thieves could take a look back at this fight.
So it starts with the ulti from River, and they really do a lot to chunk out Bjergsen. But that just means DoubleLift and Busio are just pumping in the back line. DoubleLift specifically working on towards Licorice, and the front line of 100 Golden Guardians just melts. It proves a point that you have to go on towards the AD carry because he's the one that's just free hitting. He is the majority of the damage on the side of 100 Thieves, and so even if you think you have a pick on towards Bjergsen, he's just buying time. So, good job for 100 Thieves, made it difficult for Golden Guardians, and now have a huge gold lead, 3.8k.
Yep.
Majority of the game, it was Golden Guardians with the gold lead, and now it's 100 Thieves that's talking.
And what can Golden Guardians do at this point? We talked about at the beginning of the draft that a lot of their win condition was going to be playing through sides, getting those waves pushing so that you can have easier flank angles. Every single time they've looked for flanks, it has been repelled by 100 Thieves in every one of these fights. And now that they're no longer taking fights at a gold advantage, they're taking out a gold deficit.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, man. That's tough.
That 25-minute mark, it just blew up. So now they're on that Baron power play, and they're looking topside. One point to note for Golden Guardians, you're behind versus Zilean. Really hard to find the pick to get back into this game. Stopwatch there for Closer 2, that's active, so he can be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that he has a good amount of support, a Lantern, Zil ulti, anything, his own stopwatch, as I mentioned, to keep him alive. So it has to be Golden Guardians to try and trade sides. Of course, defend the inhib turret, but as you can see, Gori is on the bot lane, trying to get something in the meantime. River's trying anything at this point.
This is as creative of a flank as you can get in the late game. There's a TP coming in as well. But
it was stopped.
Tenacity canceled it.
Tenacity saw him and was able to cancel it, so it's only River on the backside.
Can they still make it happen, though? Ballbreaker flash right onto DoubleLift, but where's the damage follow-up? Stixxay cannot rip through all of them. He's trying to flash it forward, but he has to flash out because the damage from 100 Thieves is overloading the Golden Guardians, and Tenacity is now able to TP into the fray, which means that Gori had to recall and now walk back. Gori's got perfect execution, but I imagine as soon as he steps up, 100 Thieves will just back off.
It's crazy. Everything we mentioned that was going to be an uphill battle for Golden Guardians in that fight only got harder when Tenacity was able to cancel the TP from Gori, TP himself into a fight, made it a numbers disadvantage. On top of that, there was no way for Golden Guardians to win that.
Damn. Can we just take a moment to appreciate, like, how strong of a footing this has been from 100 Thieves, just bouncing off of what was a very tough loss from FlyQuest. And we had questions if they're going to have problems going into Golden Guardians into a fresh new series, but the way that this game one is panning out, this is a great way to get the boot rolling.
Well, to be fair, they did have problems early, and that's been an issue for them still.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're still kind of repairing some of the wounds from the early Dragon fight, a thing that they've been really good at is still recovering if they are in a gold deficit. If they don't feel like they're strong trading sides, they did that. So that's nice for them in this specific game. It can't be a consistent trend, so that's my only critique. For Golden Guardians now, having to try anything. If they can find an opening, the only opening I can see is, let's say, if Closer and Busio are trying to clear vision. Right now, Tenacity is on his own, so he can't play too aggressively. Things like that. If you can see that they're pressing too much on your defensive vision, then you can look for something. But as it stands right now, it's not looking good.
Yeah. I mean, Golden Guardians, the game's not over yet. As you already mentioned before, you know, it just comes down to how creative you can be with these flanks and if the execution can come through. But I'm also looking at, okay, what do Golden Guardians need to correct going into potentially this second game? You know, Gori was set up for success. He had a great first Dragon fight. Stixxay repelled the early attempt from Closer in the bot lane.
Yep.
Like, everything was going well, but it just seemed like the execution of this Disruptor comp that they wanted to bring out in game one was pretty much negated by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and so it just comes down to playing fights a little bit better because For me, that the first Rift Herald where they conceded having Zeri bot lane, I think they can take that fight. You can match them. It's okay because you're getting more gold on towards Stixxay, but I think they realized that actually 100 Thieves didn't lose too much with TP from Tenacity still picking up bot lane wave. So that's one thing that they can look at going in between games.
Sure.
Another thing was also that team fight we talked about with Gori being a little bit late, allowing 100 Thieves to actually encroach a little bit more into the river and not threatening DoubleLift on his entry. So there's a few things they can look at, but that's tough. Those are not band-aid solutions that you can have in a few, like 10 minutes in between game 1 and game 2. So let's see if there's a draft decision there, because we kind of mentioned single target going into Thresh, Lantern, Bjergsen, Zilean ulti. Like, that's always going to be difficult in fights if you're just aiming to kill one person. So that is hard late game with the draft. So that could be one angle where they change that.
Yeah. With 100 Thieves having complete and resolute control of the bottom side of the map, third dragon goes their way. Dragon Soul will be available for them to take in the next 5 minutes. But depending on how well this Baron take goes for them, they might not even need to go to that point. You can just take the Baron and just overload Golden Guardians in a game-winning fight.
Yeah, and honestly, the best thing to do whenever it comes to you have a huge lead, at this case, it's 5.4K, using Baron as a tool to pick a fight, a game-winning fight. See that a lot in the LPL, LCK as well, of course, where it's like, all right, we cleared vision. We are now sitting in either the bush behind the pit, or we're just starting it with Busio or Tenacity in a control warded bush just to see if they can get a fight that they want to end the game. That's a good way to do it. Seems like Golden Guardians are basing the entire game on this one fight, going for Tenacity.
Gori has already popped the perfect execution, but a great death sentence from Busio over the wall. Takes out Huhi before he gets a chance to contribute any more to this fight. Licorice falls just right after, and now the Golden Guardians are on the run as 100 Thieves start to close in on their prey and march one step closer to the base.
40-second death timer on Licorice, 30 on Huhi. With a wave right behind them, it's going to be really hard for Golden Guardians to stop this. I will say that 100 Thieves generally don't try and end games, and they think there's a small chance of them messing up, but this way, I just don't see it.
They can play with confidence, play with range, use rockets and max distance. Already, Gori tries to see if he can buy time, but he's going to get blown up. He gets the stasis out from his Zonias, but then he goes down. Closer has the GA, so he gets the second life as well. And for the rest of 100 Thieves, they are rolling through the Golden Guardians in their own damn home. They're crashing the kitchen. They're taking out everything. 100 Thieves will take first the game in this series.
It's a bit of a scramble happening right now.
The pad in the KDAs.
Maybe one more. Now the hook misses, but that was a clean one. A lot happened. The moment the clock struck 25 minutes, it was winning time for 100 Thieves. They started off pretty rough, but man, that game opened wide and quickly.
And you could just see how well in sync, after one bad fight from 100 Thieves, they quickly corrected themselves. It didn't take a few weeks like we had seen during the regular season where they had a huge mid-season slump where nothing was going right for them. And we thought that, man, 100 Thieves, they might not even make playoffs, but then they had that surge in the back 2 weeks. This is the kind of play that we have been seeing. And for Golden Guardians, the question still remains, where was the team that popped off during the middle of the split?
Yeah, it's about execution, and even though you can make those band-aid solutions in the draft in between game 1 and game 2, it's about how you end up playing team fights. And it seems like 100 Thieves, it really matters. Recency bias, it matters how you win.
Yeah.
Because right now it seems like 100 Thieves are just the better team fighting team right now off game 1.
Yes.
But we haven't seen Golden Guardians too much, only just this one game, so it's a low sample size. So I'm interested to see if they make any big changes in the draft or even just in play.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just an uncharacteristic